diary. So today was a totally fantastic, incredibly sugar-sweet day. Hold on, that sounds somehow familiar. I'm so dumb. I already wrote that yesterday. How unoriginal. Ha, what the heck? So, how should I begin? I had such a, well, how do you say it? Strange dream, or rather a crazy dream, or, no, wait, a truly absurd dream. Oh yes, that sounds good. So, there was this bard, and of course, like Skeletti, clearly who else? And bard, well, he sang. About me, can you imagine that? About what exactly? Yes, it was kind of like a musical, or rather a very questionable improvised drama with a melody. Anyway, it sounded something like this.
Keinen Bogen, kein Schwert, sie hat gar nichts dabei. Nur nen alten Löffel und selbst der bricht schon entzwei. Ein Held wie aus den Sagen, nein, das wird sie nie. Doch sie hat einen guten Spruch und nen Pfeil im Knie. Ja, nein, vielleicht, wer weiß schon, was passiert. Doch Patsy stolpert weiter, auch wenn sie oft verliert. Mit nem Pfeil im Knie und nem Plan, der nie gelingt, ist sie die Heldin, die doch irgendwie gewinnt. Sie hält nie ihre Klappe, fliegt über jedes Holz. Im Kampf gegen das Chaos zeigt sie ihren Stolz. Sie scheitert an Türen, verliert jeden Streit. Doch Patsy bleibt dran, mit Galgenhumor bereit. Ja, nein, vielleicht, wer weiß schon, was passiert. Doch Patsy stolpert weiter, auch wenn sie oft verliert. Mit nem Pfeil im Knie und nem Plan, der nie gelingt, ist sie die Heldin, die doch irgendwie gewinnt. Ob Skelette, ob Gegner, sie rennt meist davon. Ihr Mut reicht für nichts und das stört sie schon. Ein Schritt nach vorn, zwei zurück, das ist ihr Stil. Doch mit Patsy wird's nie öde und das ist ihr Ziel. Ja, nein, vielleicht, wer weiß schon, was passiert. Doch Patsy stolpert weiter, auch wenn sie oft verliert. Mit nem Pfeil im Knie und nem Plan, der nie gelingt, ist sie die Heldin, die doch irgendwie gewinnt. So geht Patsy durch die Welt auf ganz eigene Weise. Ihre Taten plemplem, doch die Reise ist nie leise. Ein Abenteuer voller Chaos und auch wenn's schief geht, ist Patsy Wackelwitz die, die immer aufsteht.
I mean, that wasn't exactly the epic hero song you'd dream of, was it? But hey, the spoon. Yes, the spoon. Why on earth a spoon? I mean, what is my brain thinking? Shall we outfit the heroine with the most indispensable kitchen utensil of everyday life? Couldn't I at least have had a dagger or a sword? But no, a spoon. A wooden spoon. I mean, did I even have one? Maybe the spoon was just the physical manifestation of my total chaos. Or was it the symbol for what I truly need in my life? A good, sturdy spoon to stir myself out of this crazy world. Who knows? Additional entry. I think I should seriously consider hanging out with Les Holtzhern. Or? Yeah, I mean, maybe not. It's kind of entertaining anyway. Anyway, enough of dream interpretation. Let's move on to the truly worst challenge of my life. In other words, the final boss. My grandma Ermintrude Wackelwitz. So if you consider life as a role-playing game, then she is definitely the boss who always knows when I'm late, when I'm talking nonsense, and when I've messed everything up again. Spoiler, as always.
Patricia, you're clearly too late. I said 4 o'clock, not 4:07.
Yeah, Grandma, I'm here. Good heavens. Do you want to whip me for 7 minutes or disinherit me right away?
Now don't overdo it. Have you been lazing around in bed again and celebrating your lousy life?
No, Grandma, I negotiated world peace, tamed a dragon, and even milked 3 cows. Alright, yes, I chilled a bit, but I did manage to turn 180 degrees. So technically it was exercise. What did you want again?
That it's time for an adult life. Finally, find yourself a man, get into housework, and then it will be time for kids.
Oh, wait, do you mean that seriously? Like, really seriously? Grandma, why do I always have to do 3 things at once? Marriage, housework, and children. Is this a role-playing game with side quests or what? Can't I finish one of these tasks first?
Patrizia, take this seriously and stop laughing so hysterically. It's unhealthy.
Do you know that feeling when someone talks so much that your brain just goes into standby mode? I'm practically just a blinking light now. System overloaded, please restart. Somewhere deep inside me, a desire is forming. To draw a sword in an epic, heroic pose and end this monologue with a dramatic, "Shut up, demon." But unfortunately, I don't have a sword. And unfortunately, Grandma is not a demon, I believe. I imagine how epic it would be to conjure a muzzle out of thin air right now, and to throw it over her in slow motion.
Patrizia, are you even listening to me?
Yaha.
I have a counter question, Grandma. How exactly is that supposed to work? If, according to you, I either have to find a man or practice housework? Is that like a 2-in-1 deal? Is there a discount promotion for that? Buy a broom, marry for free.
Patrizia, now be quiet and sit down. I had a sweet ring baked for my grandchild. Only the best.
Sweet rings, the true currency of life.
Grandma, that's the most sensible thing you've said today.
Kid, is that maybe an arrow?
Oh, that. You know, I wanted to try something new. It's an experimental acupuncture trend. Less balance, more drama. A huge thing in the capital.
And how's your apprenticeship going? Were you successful?
Well, yes, no, maybe, actually. No.
As expected. I'll talk to my neighbor. She should train you in her little sewing room as quickly as possible.
Great, then I can immediately start sewing curtains for my future husband. Maybe I'll even get a certificate for traditional femininity, with honours no less. I should be looking for a man right now, shouldn't I?
Yeah, apparently you can't manage that either, Patrizia. What about that nice gentleman from the Magia Guild I recently introduced you to?
Him? He started talking, and in the meantime, I re-evaluated my life 3 times, was internally overhauled and even acquired, trained, and laid an imaginary dog to rest. And then he was finally done. Grandma, I swear, the guy drew more magic out of me than a vampire. After 5 minutes of conversation, I felt as if I was trapped in an endless loop.
Kid, grow up already.
Grandma, I've done some research. There is no cure for my inner chaos child.
It's a chronic case of I won't, I don't, I can't. Doctors recommend more donuts as therapy.
Speaking of doctors,
Grandma is a gem. An untiring, stubborn, never-ending treasure, with a built-in broadcasting function for questionable life advice. When I told her about Skeletti, my personal horror film No Credits, she had only one solution: a doctor's visit. But I don't have that appointment until tomorrow. With an internal curtain fall, I mentally said goodbye to my grandma and set off toward the tavern. And then, bam, there he is. Holzhern, also known as Woodbrain. My old buddy who proves every second that madness and greatness walk through life like best friends. And those looks. He looks at you as if he knows that you've just secretly eaten a piece of cake in your pajamas, while you turned off the light because you're ashamed of it. But sometimes I feel like he doesn't even notice that I'm here. He probably thinks I'm just one of the many NPCs in this wild play we call life. But that doesn't matter. What really matters is that we live the chaos together, just as we've always wanted. A little laughter, a lot of confusion, and the relentless attempt to win over Holzhern.
You know, Holzhern, if you were a tree, then you would be, well,
Then I wouldn't cut you down.
Huh? Exactly. And I would be your squirrel.
Wait, what?
Yes, such a cute little squirrel climbing around on you and hiding its nuts in your tree bark.
Is that bioethically bad?
You like me, right? Or do you just not like me enough to admit that you like me? Or do I like you too much to realize that you don't like me at all?
Huh?
So not.
What? No, well,
Did you just say no?
no, I mean, yes, or what did you say?
Aha,
Huh?
right?
What are we talking about?
That was my question.
Which question?
Exactly.
All right, dear diary. I could now say everything's settled. It's all over. Nothing more to see. But so, are you ready for the epic follow-up? No, yes, you don't have a choice anyway. Beer is a bit like an annoying guest. At first, entertaining. Then it becomes unpleasant. And in the end, it throws itself out. Just through my stomach. After I left the remnants of my dignity somewhere in the tavern, I took the shameful journey home. Or rather, I staggered toward the horizon, but barely had I taken a step when I felt that one ominous presence.
Look at that. The fighting wall of muscles and concentrated disappointment. So, did you miss me? I mean, it would be understandable. I am pretty great. Mostly. Except now, I knew you liked me. But lurking here for me in the middle of the night, a bit stalker-like, don't you think? Ah, yes, do you still remember back then? I mean, of course you remember. You were there, so was I. But do you know what you don't remember?
To the fact that I almost defeated you. Almost.
That counts too, right? Well, I don't know, but I have evolved. Back then, I thought a fight was decided by strength. Today, I know, no, it is decided by flexible repositioning. You could call it escape, but that sounds so negative. I prefer dynamic threat management, and if that's not evolutionary, then I don't know what is. Oh, look back there. A triangle for the troll with cake. No? Well, it was worth a try.
This was the English translation by the AI ElevenLabs.